Well, hi guys, hopefully this finds you very well. My name's Paul, this is Plan Z, and trying to film the screen of a Boss VE-500 is like working on one of the spaceships in the Space 1999 series from the 70s. Oh joy, and thank you very much for joining the video. My name's Paul. We're going to be diving into the VE-500. I finally figured out a way that I can try and film it whilst it's in amongst my pedal board. So it's a little bit tricky. I can't quite see what you can see, so we're going to muddle through. I've got 4 or 5 patches for us to look at. What we're going to be focusing on is lo-fi, radio and distortion, different ways of using it. But first off, let's just hear some differences. So this is my dry tone, and let me just see if I can't get in. Unfortunately, you can't see me doing the buttons, but I thought the screen was probably more of a priority to you guys. So we're going to come along to where the enhance block is, and I just want to show you this. And before I start going into this, I just need to tell you that this part 1.1 is focused on these effects as I described. 1.2 will be focused on different area of effects, and I'll go through different effects blocks and things. But 1.0 won't be out for maybe another week, and it's going to be the input-output settings. It's just I won't have a chance to record that maybe for a few days. So I'm going to put this one up first to help someone out in the group so we can kind of get into this. Okay, so I'm going to shut up now. So yeah, your input, your output, get your nice clean vocal sorted so it's really nice. And all I've added to my input-output EQ, so we've got the input-output EQ on at the moment, and then I've got this block on where and we've got a bit of reverb in the background you can hear, but I've got the enhance up at 54, I think that is, the compressor on around 70, and the de-esser on around 30. I'm dropping one off the lows. I'm not bumping highs here, just leaving that alone, bumping the level by 1. Now I have I can't remember what it's called now, Deluxe 6057 or whatever it is, and it's got a wider frequency range than a 58, or maybe it's a Deluxe 58. Maybe that's what it is, you donut. So anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to my microphone here. It's been a long time since I taught mics, but it's got a wider frequency range, and I've got apparently when I worked in studios, they tell me I've got quite a lot of low end they have to manage. So you might not need to manage your low end the same way as me, but here I'm taking out 250 on a minus 2 dB, just a little bit there. I manage it quite heavily in my input and output settings. I'm taking out also 5K here, and I'm going to take this 7 and I'm going to put it to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there I'm just doing a little duck there for when I put on a distortion. And we'll look at that. We've got a distortion block in here to start us off. But first we'll listen to the other 5 patches. I just want to show you what's happening here. And then I've got no low-high cut going on, all right? So that is the enhance block. So I'm going to come out of there, and I'm just going to go down to some effects. My voice will change, and we're going to go
into this one first, where I'm using the lo-fi effect. It's basically a bit crusher, and then after that I put a reverb that's going into the granular. It's going into a granular delay, I think, if I remember right. Can't remember. We'll have a look when we get into the settings. But how that might sound. 2021, they got us locked down. Sorry, hang on a second. Let me get my shit together. 2020, they got us locked down. Corona. Now I've got a few other things in this patch to spice this sound up that I'm going to talk to you about.
Now we're going to go into this one where I've got one of the lo-fi settings on. Now it has different notches in it, so I've just picked one of the notches to start off with. We're going to go through all the notches and how this patch works. But this is the radio, and the first one was the lo-fi, which think of it as a bit crusher. This is my dry. that's got a bit of distortion on it and a slapback to give me a slightly megaphony style. So yeah, when things get heavy, I'll drop into this one. This is my dry, where when I go into the other mode, I've got a distortion here where the distortion's on 100. Let's just go in and have a quick look. We're going to go along to the distortion block. Sorry, I've got to try looking around the phone. Now here, I usually have my dry level at 5. I'm going to turn those beats off. I usually have my dry level at 5, okay, when I'm using distortion blocks, depending on the effect I'm going for. And then let's go to the next page. Yeah, and as I say, in this one I'm cranking it. I've taken the tone out to 10, and I got the level at about 25, is that? I really can't see the screen from where I am, so hopefully you can see the screen. Yeah, so we've got this in here, and it's just a simple distortion going onto the voice. I've got a reverb I can add there. I can also, if I take that off for a second, I've got some low harmonies either side of me that will behave a bit better when the guitar's going in, but this distortion will affect all of us, which is really nice if I want to get nasty. So let's get rid of those guys. They're like my evil brothers. In this patch, we're also using distortion, but I just want to show you that everything's the same in the patch, apart from, obviously, the reverb's more of a slap reverb. And we've got different effects in here. So I've got the distortion slightly lower at 80, taking the tone to about 4. And the level, again, my levels will be hovering between 22 and 25, depending, or even higher if I'm going to a lower. And in a minute we're going to dial in my main vocal with and make it sound radio just using the EQ block and a distortion block. But let's get into some of the effects first, because I know that's what you're here for. We would have seen there the dry level was at 5 also. So I think I wish you were here. I wish it was you could communicate with me, and maybe yeah. Let's go down to the most interesting
one, which is this guy here. So I'm just going to change the mode. We're going to dive into the patch, and there may be some subtle differences in here. I think I might have narrowed the frequencies here, where I've taken a low cut to 250 and a high cut to 10. The 5K is left the same, but I'm taking a cut at 315 here, minus 12 dB on a very tight Q. And if I open this Q up, my voice will slowly, that end of it will fall apart, and we can take that away and then boost the overall level of the EQ to get a thinner version of this. Does that make sense? But for now I'm going to put it here because it's easier to understand what's going on. And because of that adjustment, I've made an adjustment here, and I've boosted, I haven't boosted the highs, I've left them alone, and I have dropped one off the low end. Everything else in the block will be the same. So I'm going to come out of there. These are the two blocks that are really doing the business for us. Let me just get turn this guy on and off. So we've got 1, 2. So I've just put a distortion on. This block here is the distortion that I've added to it. And afterwards, I can't remember. Yeah, I put the granular effect after for us to just turn on and have some fun. So let's just turn that on. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so we've got the granular effect in here, which is like a delay, which is set to different times, and it affects the frequencies. It must be something to do with the preamp that would have been used on the original versions of them. I don't know, but it's a great sound. So I can kind of modify the sound just by turning on those two blocks, okay? But what's really giving us our spice here is this block here, I think. Okay, so I've got the reverb going into the lo-fi. Nothing else is on apart from the enhancer. And here I've just got a simple room reverb, okay? So I've got this other block here in the middle that comes on and off, and a distortion just before it that comes on and off. Now, let's turn off the reverb. Okay, so now we've got just the lo-fi effect. Let's go into the effect, where what we're going to see is we've got one page, and here I'm at 100%. So let's turn that down. And as we bring that down, our effect becomes less and less intense, and we're down to our vocal here. And we can put that in so it's as intense as we want it or not. I went to the extreme. I really like the sound I was creating when I was getting prepared for the video. And, you know, I was like, you know what, I'm going to save that as a patch. It's quite interesting. So I'm going to bring that guy back in, but just to talk for a little moment, what's going on here with this effects block, and I can spend hours going through all the variables with you. I'm going to show you a couple of things that you need to know, and then it's down to you to experiment with your voice and your ears. But sorry, I'm just having a little thought to myself there. So what's going to happen is I'm going to turn up the effect so we can really hear it, and then we're going to change. You've got like a bit depth over here, or bit rate, and then you've got what's called lo-fi, I think, which is basically crushing it. All right, so at the moment we're not crushing so much, and we've got the bit rate really low. Okay, so I'm gonna turn up the effect. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Boss, it would be really nice to have a compressor at the end of the chain here. And can we have better compressors, please? 1 2 1 2. In fact, can we have a GT 1000 core but a VE-500? That would be perfect with all the divide. Oh, yummy, yummy. But anyway, so what we're going to do is, now we've got it on the stream, I'm going to stay on this same bit, but I'm just going to sweep through here. And as we get further up, I can't remember which way around it is. I think it's this one. It's going to get louder, and we're going to need to watch our balance, okay? So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and we're kind of getting interference there when we're talking, which is really nice. We can play around with that. And remember, I've got an EQ on my voice that's helping this along slightly that I covered. Now let's stay in this position here, where is more or less where we were, and let's just go the other way with bit. So let's come all the way down here, and we'll find it's much subtler. So, and we'll crank it 100% here. So it's a very subtle effect as we come through the bits. Let's come down, and here we are at the beginning. So let's just scroll through 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17, and we're just reducing the bit rate. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. Here we go. 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. Oh my god, that's intense. So over here we're going to bring down this balance quickly. Let's bring down the balance. Because that's quite an intense place to be, but this could be quite a nice effect here once my reverb's on it. Are you with me? So now we can play around with let's just pull that back a touch. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Let's bring this up again. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So there's a big jump as this notches around. There's a big jump in volume somewhere around here. So as we reduce, we go up in volume here, and there's quite a jump there, another one here. So I'm just going to back off. So you'll need to manage that with your balance here. And as you can hear, you're now in kind of distortion territory. And when you're up there, okay, so you can kind of blend these things and use them in the different EQ routing sets that we have in VE-500. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come out of that patch. Sorry, knock going to go back into it, and this time, we're going to add our granular delay in. Let me just turn that reverb off. We'll look at that in a moment if you want. But here we've got, let's turn the block on. Hang on. I like to make sure it's on visually so I know what I'm doing. Now we would have heard the change there. And you'll notice over here, if I change the time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh yeah, this is getting freaky out here. So much fun to be had in here, it's unbelievable. If you get some design set up, maybe an expression switch, something like that. Let's come right back down to where we were. Let's go to beyond where we were, which is at the beginning, which is giving us a really nice, we're being interfered with almost like we've got radio going on, or interference like you're in a war movie or something. But now let's mess with that. And now we've got the feedback. So let's just increase the feedback. Let's crank it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 3, 4. Let's bring down. Probably going to want to bring down. Let's bring this level right down. Let's bring that down. Down, 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 down. Hello, 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 hello. So we can start feeding this kind of interference into our signal. Let's break that down a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn it up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So can you hear how I'm manipulating the signal by constantly balancing at least 2 of the knobs? If you're just sitting there tweaking the one, you're going to run into trouble. You need to be tweaking a couple of knobs at any one time. And try to just remember that your levels are going to jump around a bit as the signal changes. Let's come out of there. Let's turn that off. Let's put our verb back on. Whoa. And yeah, let's maybe come out of the patch.
So now we're going to just have a little look at the radio effect. Let's go in. So everything else will be the same, except I've got the radio effect on. Let's turn those delays off. Let's get to the block. Where are you? Right here. You can hear a little bit of hiss there in the background, which is quite nice. So at the moment I've got the LoFi quite high. And the level on 100%. And the level, because I have all my dry mix taken away, there's only this one page to this effect. When I bring down the level, it will soften it. Sorry, I'm not even turning the knob there, look. So here we go, and it will take me away. Oh, well, I'm going away, bye. But anyway, he said, can you believe it? Oh, we're back in the room. So I've got my level back up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to change this parameter by 1, and we'll hear quite a difference, hopefully. 1, 2. So what's going on here is this, in the same way as with the other patch, is notching through rather than like a momentary thing, okay? So it's going to just change the frequency shape as we scroll through. So let's start out there. Let's then come into this EQ, and then let's try the next EQ, or whatever it is they're doing to shape it in the algorithm. Now here the tops are really nice and crispy. That's a lovely sound there. Would be really nice layered with vocoders and stuff. That's really nice too. We've got lovely tops going on here. This is really nice territory to be in. And we're back down to the beginning, I think, hopefully. Alright, so we've got a bit of a tone range there. As you get higher up, you start losing, and when you get to the end, you're in kind of full low radio territory, alright? And it's literally that simple, that block. The EQ set is the same as my dry, so I just have my dry signal and I just apply that block. Now this one it has a distortion on it where I'm at 70, I've got the tone in the middle, and I've got the level about 25. again, you'll see dry mix coming through at 5. I've just got a slap back on it so I can use it like when the track's getting a bit heavier and I just want to cut through a bit more, okay, in that kind of aggressive way, as you know, us vocalists like to do every now and again. So let's get back into this main patch where if we turn on the distortion block, we've got the distortion on 100. Now let's come along. We've got our reverb block. Now remember, I put granular reverb, the granular delay after that. And remember what, or not even a delay, was it? I just put the lo-fi. Was it a lo-fi? Let's see what this does.
1, 2, 1, 2. And you can hear it spitting a little bit around me. This is what I'm doing in the first patch we looked at. Okay, so let's just take that away.
But we could put any of those effects on afterwards to spice up our life, okay? And remember this, at the end of the signal chain, in the master, how you're routed with your effects and your reverb. So here I'm in series effects 3. Is that? Yeah, a series. And I've got the verbs on separate. All right, so they're probably 2 settings you might need to know, but I'll be diving deeper into that as we go into different patches. All right, but I'll get this master settings video up. Hopefully, yeah, you got some ideas there if you haven't already. And yeah, sorry, it's not ideal, but we're going to try and muddle through. I'm a Gen Xer, and that's what we do. We muddle through. We try and make the best of it. So hopefully you're in it. In for a penny, in for a pound, as they used to say. I'll catch you later. Bye.